I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, she talks about sex with other men. Well, that's probably not a good thing, and it's definitely not something you should just kind of let slide if a woman brings this up. But before we get into it, I got a quote that I'd like to share with you on this topic. And it says, the quality of intimacy in your relationship is in direct proportion to the quality of the questions that you consistently ask your lover. You should never assume the best or the worst when your lover says something that makes you feel like withdrawing or holding back. So instead of assuming anything and acting upon your assumptions, get used to asking, "What do you mean?" or "Please explain what you mean by that because I don't understand where you are coming from," to elicit their true intentions, thoughts, and feelings. Otherwise, you risk putting your foot in your mouth and causing unnecessary drama. Well, I see this a lot with guys that I'm coaching, is that when situations come up or happen, they either automatically assume the worst or they automatically assume too much and think the best. And instead of asking the woman that they're with good quality questions to get her to reveal what's really going on, they just start filling in the blanks. And if you're in a fearful state and you start filling in the blanks instead of asking a good quality question, there's a really good chance that you're going to say something that's going to be, you're going to in essence put your foot in your mouth and you're going to create unnecessary problems. So instead of trying to fill in the blanks, ask her questions and get her to explain herself and what she means, just like I talked about in the quote I shared. So I've got an email here from a viewer, and he says, "Hey Corey, thanks for the awesome stuff you're putting out there. I love it, man. I'm 46 and I'm seeing a 28-year-old English girl, and we've been hanging out, having fun, and hooking up." He says, "I love that term. It's awesome and simple." Yeah, I mean, hang out, have fun, hook up, rinse, recycle, repeat. It's what a guy needs to focus on. It's about being the leader in the relationship, leading the interaction to a successful conclusion in the bedroom. Because at the end of the day, nature's already taken care of the sexual attraction. Sexual attraction is not a choice. You either are a 5 or better and have a chance with a woman, or you're a 4 and below and you got no chance with her. So if you're with a woman who's got the attraction for you, it's simple. Hang out means make a date, and then when you're hanging out together, laugh and have fun, have a good time, because if she's laughing and feeling good, guess what? That's what she is going to associate with you. But if you're talking about heavy subjects or a family member of hers that's in the hospital and not doing real well, now you're stirring up negative emotion. You can actually see it in her face as her body language and her physiology starts to change. That's why it's important to recognize those things and quickly change the subject back onto something positive and playful and fun. Because even if she's got shit going on in her life that she's distressed about, you should be her escape from that unpleasant reality. You should focus on having a great time and making a simple date. And then when you're hanging out and having fun together, at some point you need to make a physical move and then ultimately lead it to a successful conclusion in the bedroom. But women aren't they don't want the power, they don't want the leadership role. They want you to handle all the details. They want to show up, look hot, have a good time, and have you seduce them. He says, everything's going beautiful. Me and her talk about relationships and how the guys at work look so sad because they are having problems with their partners when they get home. He says, there's this guy whose wife is a psycho and she saw him the other day at work. Her and I had just come from hanging out and having fun after we hooked up. We were talking and she mentioned, so was that like a nooner? Did you get together and hook up for lunchtime? That's always fun. When I was in real estate, I had this office that I had was like right on the main road, and I had all glass, which I had blinds. And so my girlfriends would come to the office and shut the door. I'd put my phone, my office phone, on mute, and it was always nice to have sex there in the office because with the lights turned down, at least during the day, nobody could see in, and so we'd be having sex when all the traffic's going by, or I'd be getting a blowjob in my office, and it was a lot of fun. So nooners can be a great thing. He says, we were talking and she mentioned that she saw this guy and he looked really down, and her words were, listen to this, "I just felt like telling him to come here and fuck me." He says she immediately said sorry after she realized what she had said. Now, sometimes when you're with women, or your girlfriends or women that you're dating, sometimes they'll say things or they'll talk about other guys just to see how you handle it. If you're willing, because if you come off as you're a little concerned or maybe a little jealous, or you're like, hey, what do you mean by that? Why would you say that? That's a good time to ask a question like that and get her to explain what she's saying. But, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got, when something like that comes up, you got to tell her no in certain terms. It's like, hey, that was really uncool, that what you just said there. We're in an exclusive relationship, and if you have interest in hooking up with other guys, and we can have an open relationship, but I'm not interested. Or if that's not something you want, you say, I'm not interested in you hooking up with other dudes. And certainly if you are having sex with other guys, that's a deal breaker for me. That's a deal killer. I mean, it's all based upon what you want out of the relationship. Now, if it's somebody you're just kind of casually hooking up with and you're not really serious, that's another issue. But this one here, this guy's been with her for 5 months, so I assume they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And so that's really not cool to say it. However, just like I said in the quote, it's always best to say, what do you mean by that? And so sometimes women will throw shit at you like that just to see how you handle it. Because if you communicate that is inappropriate and you don't like it, in their mind they take it, oh wow, he really does care about me. But if you act like, you don't give a shit, then she's going to think, oh wow, he doesn't really care about me, and maybe I should go ahead and fuck that guy. So he says, listen how he responds. He says, well, I responded with, freedom comes from the Lord and not from me, so you can fuck who you want. I probably wouldn't have said that, dude. And again, you didn't ask a good quality question. You were probably trying to be a little too indifferent about it, but that's a pretty inappropriate statement for her to say. He says, so obviously he thought about it. He says, but the next day I told her that I found it very unromantic, inappropriate, and disrespectful that she mentioned that during our hooking up, and I politely asked if it was possible that this does not happen again. She responded by being very apologetic and telling me that she just wants me and blah, blah, blah. He says, the way I see it is that women are emotional creatures and they are kind of the nurses of the world, and she said that she had said that because she felt sorry for the guy, but at the same time, I didn't like her timing. Yeah, I wouldn't either. That's just not fucking cool. So he says, expressing those thoughts during our romantic moment. So I corrected her in an adult kind of like manner. And I don't really want to make a big deal out of it, but I'm more wary with her now in keeping my cards closer in my vest, but not in a cold dick manner. He says she's been very apologetic and insists that it was a silly thing to say and that she only wants to be with me, blah, blah, blah. He says, my question to you is, what would you have done, Corey, and am I getting this stuff? Well, like I said in the quote, why would you say that? What do you mean by that? Obviously you could express it in your face. It's one of those things that makes you go, what? What'd you just say? Like, what the hell possessed you to say something like that? What are you trying to tell me? What are you communicating to me? I don't understand where you're coming from. Why would you say that? And she starts saying, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, but why would you say that? I don't understand why something like that would pop out. Because you say that to me, it makes it sound like you're fantasizing about fucking this guy because his relationship isn't going well. It's like, what's up with that? Please speak explain. I don't understand what the hell you're talking about. So it's good to ask a good quality question, because the way you handled it initially was like to brush it off, like, hey, it's no big deal, sleep with whoever you want, but this is your girlfriend. I would never say something like that to her, because you're basically, in essence, initially telling her, hey, it's okay, if you want to go fuck this guy, go. If she's just a casual hookup, then, and that's the way you feel about it, that's cool. But obviously, if you're 5 months with this girl and you're exclusive with her, you need to definitely stand up for yourself and say, hey, that's not fucking cool, and we're in an exclusive relationship, and it's just you and me. And if you want to date other people, then that's a deal killer for me. I'm not interested in that. So you gotta. I think you did a good job of backing up the next day when you thought about it. You went, you know what? That probably wasn't the best way to handle it. So I mean, it was a good recovery on your part, but I would definitely pay attention. But next time something like that comes up, or she says something that makes you have a double take, you need to ask her the good quality questions to find out exactly what the hell she's trying to say and what she means by that. You got to think of it, it's like kind of like a game of poker. The idea is that you want to get her to reveal her cards first. You want her to give up first before you go putting your foot in your mouth or assuming something that's inappropriate. Obviously, this was a pretty obvious issue here, but a lot of times with guys that I'm coaching, and a couple of the guys I talked to today during my phone sessions, same thing. They were in situations and they assumed what the meaning of what she said was, and they assumed incorrectly, and it created unnecessary problems and unnecessary drama. So it's always better, remember, to ask good quality questions. It doesn't matter if you just started dating or you've been together for 10 years. The quality of the relationship is in direct proportion to the quality of the questions that you consistently ask each other. So if you'd like to get my help personally with a challenge or a situation that you're having that's got you perplexed, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone session with yours truly. And I will talk to you soon.